Here we have the inside of the 2015 Elddis Accordo 140. If we firstly come to the main control panel, we can turn the master switch on just here, which will then at the top here give us a voltage of the leisure battery. Above the master switch we then have lights. As you can see, the majority of the lights are already on and they can all be individually turned on and off on their own switches. This switch just here does the entrance light. Next we have awning light on and off, and then water pump on and off. We need the water pump on so we can get water out of the taps, fill the boiler if it's been drained down, and flush the toilet. Whenever the pump is running, the green light just here will come on, and the red little light here where my finger is will illuminate when the grey water tank needs emptying. To view how much water is in the fresh tank, just hold the water button down and then go by the blue gauge underneath the voltage. Next we have the heating and hot water controls. So you'll see we have this one here that says Whale water heater, and beneath it we then have Whale space heater. So if we start with the water heater just here, we have two switches. The first one just here is if you want to use a gas to heat your hot water. So all we have to do is make sure the bottle's turned on and then flick it down, and then it will automatically ignite itself. Once it ignites, the green light will come on. If it fails to light, the red light will begin to flash, and this may be due to the fact that the gas bottle is either off, run out, or there may be a bit of air in the system. If that happens and it does start to flash, once you think you've rectified the problem, you will need to reset the control panel. So the way you do it is, if it's a gas problem, is you literally just flick on and off like so until the red light disappears. Beside gas control for the hot water, we then have mains electricity controls. You'll see this one is a rocker switch instead of just being a switch on and off. So if we're in the middle, as we are at the moment, we are off. If we now flick the rocker switch up, we are now heating hot water on main supply using about 1 kilowatt. And if I flick it down, we're using about 2 kilowatts. So just dependent on the amperage of the site you're on to try and stop yourself from tripping. Again now, if it's not detecting main supply, red flashing light will appear to let you know that it's not working. And again, once you think you've rectified the problem, you then need to reset it, and with this rocker switch it's just rock it backwards and forwards like so until again the red light disappears. Beneath it we then have the controls for the heating. So you'll see you have a thermostat dial just here, so just pick the temperature, and then you'll see that we have wavy lines again and a flame. So if again we want to use gas, we flick all the way down to the bottom, and again once it's lit, green light will come on, and if it fails to light, the red light will begin to flash. And again, to reset the control panel, it's turn it on and off, and it's just a matter of switching this from side to side as quickly as possible, and it will then reset. You will see just above the little flame there we have a little picture of a fan, and that is just the circulation fan on without any heat at all, so you can use this on a warm day just to circulate the air. If we now turn back to off again, you'll see the green light's gone back out again now. We can again run on main supply, And we have a single wavy line here representing main supply at about 500 watts. Two wavy lines, main supply at 1 kilowatt. And three wavy lines, main supply at 2 kilowatts. If we now come down to the Dometic fridge, you'll see we're currently in the off position. If we now flick it across one, we're now running the fridge on mains electricity. The next one with the picture of the battery is 12 volt maintain for when you are driving. So we'll use the vehicle battery to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. And then lastly we have gas. If we're going to run the fridge on gas, we need to come across to the temperature control. We need to hold it in and push the igniter, and then what we want is for this little line here to drift out of the white into the green. As soon as we turn it to something else, it will automatically put itself straight back out again. We then have just push down to open the fridge door. We have the freezer box just here, which can be removed. There are two clips just underneath. We can also vent the fridge for when we're not using it. And it's just a matter of just pushing this part in here and then sliding out, and then we can hold the door on a jar to just vent it. We have the 3 gas rings. That is just push in, twist round and push the igniter just down here. And beneath that we then have the oven and the grill. For the oven, push in to the left, and then for the grill, push in to the right. Beneath the oven we have the majority of the gas isolation taps for the motorhome. So we have cooker, hob, fridge, and then this side here we have hot water and heating. They're all in the on position and they can basically stay like that. I always say they're more for maintenance than anything else. If you smell gas in the van, I always suggest just going to the gas bottle and turning it off. Also in here we have the water pump just there, and we can also see the actual whale boiler itself. To drain the boiler down for winterization, we need to use this little yellow lever just here. You'll see that it's currently flapped over in the closed position. To drain the water out of it, we just need to flip it up and it will then drop all the water out. Do make sure that the water pump is turned off, or if it's left on, all that will happen is basically the water pump will try to refill the boiler back up again. So once you've closed it back up, fill up the fresh water tank, turn the water pump on, and it will then commence filling the boiler back up. You will need to open your taps to blow out any air that may be in the system. Once they're then running freely, close them back down again, and then the system will then fully prime. Behind the driver's seat we have the clip-on table just here that clips on the rail at the back. If we now come into the washroom, we have the shower just here, and then we also have the basin. The Thetford toilet just sits here. The bowl does move all around. Open to the cassette on the grey lever just here, and then push the blue button to flush. Level indicator just here to let you know when the cassette needs emptying, and then close the cassette again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out, so do make sure it's been closed. The light switch for the washroom is just located here. We then have the consumer unit just here. So we have the individual MCBs just here, all labelled up, main RCD and test button. So if anything's not working on main supply, just come in here to see whether or not you've tripped. And then beneath that we have all the 12 volt fuses, and again they're all labelled up, so if something's not working on 12 volt, just come and check to see if a fuse is blown. In the wardrobe we have the television aerial. So right at the back here we have the digital amplifier for it, on and off on the top just here. This particular amplifier has a signal finder in it, so dependent on the colour of the light indicates the signal strength, so the greener the better. You can control the boost on the dial just here, and then the mast itself just sits here. So if we now loosen it off, we can now raise it up, and you can see I've now got a nice solid green light. We then just lock the collar into place. Never over tighten these because you can split them. You'll see at the moment we're in green and it says H on it, which stands for horizontal, so the aerial is just sitting flat. If we do need to do additional tuning, we can turn the tail and flip it into the vertical position. Always make sure that the aerial is back down again for travel, with the green window facing the front of the motorhome. If we now come round to the Avtex television, these travel TVs behave like any other, on and off just here. These televisions have USB in the top, and they also have a DVD player in the side. You'll see we have television guide just here. And as you change location, the television will need to be retuned in. And you have the nice quick retune button just here, and it's just hold it at the screen. It will take you straight back to the retune menu, then just hit OK, and it will then start to retune itself back in again. On the roof we have the PIR sensor for the alarm. These are battery operated, so just check the batteries from time to time. And then we also have the smoke alarm and carbon monoxide alarm, which again are battery operated. We have storage underneath both of the bench seats, so if I firstly just remove the cushions on one side, we can now lift the bench seat up. You'll see on this side that we have the back of the battery box just here, and we have the main 25 amp 12 volt fuse. We can also fold these bench seats fully away for lots of storage if required. You will see tucked here we have a little bit that needs pushing in, and then one on the opposite side as well. To be able to push these in, you do need to take some of the weight actually off and then just push in. And then you can then fold fully out of the way, and you can do exactly the same with the bench seat this side as well. If they're going to be up like this for travel, do make sure that these are clipped in so they do not slam back down again in transit. With this model, we can either have two single beds, and I prefer, if you're going to have it in single bed mode, that you slightly pull the bench seat out and then pull forward, drop this cushion onto the wall, and then have it like so. This will still leave, once we've done this on this side as well, a big enough walkway to get in and out if we're needing to get up in the night. If we're going to have it as a large double bed, it is just a matter of pulling both the bench seats so they meet up in the middle, and then dropping all the cushions in.